G'day, Paul from Small Crown Productions here. Welcome back to the channel. Shakespeare spoke a lot about alcohol in his plays, and one of those alcohols was wine. In this video, we're talking with master brewer Ian Vowles, who tells us his experience brewing wine and some of the more interesting wines he's had to brew. Let's go.
Well, one grows some grapes, preferably a large number of them because wine is good stuff. It's a lot of fun, and here in Australia I think we're serviced very well by our wine industry. There's a lot of excellent choice, yeah, first off you need to grow some grapes, get the variety that you like, harvest those at the right season. Please let the weather let us get them in good condition. And then you crush them up to get the juice. If you want it to be a white wine, you get it away from the skins as quickly as you possibly can so that it leaves the lovely grape juice colour. If you want a good solid red, you get those nice red grapes and you leave them on the skins whilst you're fermenting it for a while, and that'll give you a beautiful red. So with wine it is the grape juice and a yeast. Grapes are fabulous incubators for new yeasts all over the skins. So largely you can just sort of crush it up, get the juice, the yeast is in the juice, and leave it alone. Fermentation process, maybe a few weeks, and then the aging process, how long do you want to age it? What characteristics do you want to get from the thing you're aging it in? It is the grape varieties, so when you're hearing the names like the Shiraz and the Cabernet Sauvignon as you've mentioned, those are varieties of grapes, and those grapes over the years have been cultivated for certain properties to give certain flavours, and they do, and you get very distinctive flavours from them, different kind of body from them as they're made. Some winemakers are particularly accomplished at certain blends of different grapes, so you can often find in the modern world carefully blended 3 variety or 4 varietal grapes in your wine, and these can produce outstanding outcomes that are just so wonderfully tasty. As I say, here in Australia we have a marvellous industry that just does a fabulous job of making wine. So the heavier flavours are usually in amongst what the grape brings to it, and so if they have very strong flavours and if they brew very nicely to reasonably high alcohol contents, you can get a very strong flavour, a very hefty alcohol hit. Also depending upon the barrels that they store it in, that will bring tannins into it from the contact between the juice as it ferments and the surface of the barrels, although usually people ferment these days in stainless steel and then age in oak. Whether the oak has been reused, whether it's new, this can also bring it. The tannins particularly, they pull in the body, and you get tannins from the grapes themselves, and so different grape varieties will give this bigger body that gives these strong flavours, and those lighter wines might be particularly towards the whites and some of the rosés. They've processed them a little differently, they're a different variety of grape, and so you get this enormous range of flavours. Because I buy quite a lot of wine myself, I enjoy it, and I don't make all the different varieties myself. I'd like to buy wine. It always amuses me when somebody says, "Oh, and what kind of wine do you like?" And I say, "Wine," because I enjoy very much from the very sweet dessert wines. There's just some magnificent sweet wines that are made, and then you get up to those very full-bodied Cabernet Sauvignons that are just full of flavour. The grapes come out, the oak that it's been stored in comes out, and you just get these marvellous flavours. Because I'm living here in Queensland in a warm climate, certainly recently rosés. There's a lot of beautiful rosés being made here in Australia currently, and I've been enjoying them very, very much. Warm conditions, out in the sunshine, glass of rosé in hand, and a little bit of something to nibble on. Fantastic. I don't brew wine a lot, and I don't have an awful lot, but I do have one that was part of a challenge where I was challenged to make a wine from a recipe that was ancient, from Roman times. And it was an asparagus wine. It was not clear at all exactly how that might work. Modern asparagus is probably nothing like what was called asparagus in Roman times, but I used modern asparagus, and it also called for seawater in the batch, and was really, it was a challenge. You know, somebody had said, make this recipe. So I did. It is drinkable. It is unusual. The other person in the challenge who was silly enough to say in my earshot that he had a mung bean wine recipe, and he made a mung bean wine. And by his own admission, particularly nasty. I do still have a bottle. It was 2015 and 2005. 2005 it was made. I think it's that one down there. Just it's sitting there. It's 2005. Thank you. 2005 asparagus wine.
Do you have a bottle of the mung bean?
I do. I hold it as a threat over my companion, who was also challenged at the same time.